the Lions, I mentioned them earlier. They have now won 6 of 7. Is that what it is? 6 of 7? Yes, and they are 7-7. From losing 6 of 7 to winning 6 of 7, they have evened their record with a win over the New York Jets. Zach Wilson, not exactly what they had hoped in his return, although the Jets, they had a chance. You know, it came down to, and I got to love the guts that Dan Campbell has. We saw the Penei Sewell play to ice the Vikings game on 3rd and 7, the throw. And then we saw 4th and inches, game on the line, down 17-13. It's the, you know, we say the word all the time. I just feel self-conscious about saying it now. There's a certain title for this. It's the OS-T screen. And Myles, I don't know if you've ever seen this clip. Kevin Gilbride, the former NFL offensive coordinator and head coach, coordinator of the Giants teams that won a couple of Super Bowls, he used to be part of our afternoon show. And the Vikings used a play like that against the Packers 8-9 years ago. And he was explaining it. And he said they call it the excuse my language, Mom, shit screen. And it's like he actually stopped. It didn't just come out of his mouth. He said, excuse my language, Mom. And that's what they call it. That it's everything flows one way. A guy leaks out, and all the defensive players say, yeah, and off he goes. What a moment to use that. And boom, Lions take the lead, hold off the Jets, and now they are 7-7. It's one of the. It's hard to stand out in such a crazy year, but it really is one of the more amazing stories that we've seen this season.
Oh, it totally is. And you know, when you get that vote of confidence that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes got from ownership, you know, I guess it now is about 7 weeks ago because they were 1-6, and it was basically like, hey, stick with us. We believe in this process. And now, boom, you're seeing the results, and it's really, really impressive to see what that Detroit Lions team is now doing. I mean, to go to the Meadowlands and defeat the Jets and defeat that defense, especially with that particular play. You know, we talk about Dan Campbell and the stones that he's got. They go up for it on 4th down a lot, but it's also the play design and the play execution. When you have things like that, and I think Ben Johnson has done as good a job as an offensive coordinator as anybody in the entire National Football League this year, you really, really see the meshing of the personnel, right, with the scheme, and how do we use our guys to be the most effective that they can be in certain situations. I mean, to use Penei Sewell as they did last week, and then to have something else that is sort of run off of that in a critical situation this week, right, where you're getting guys going in motion and it's 4th down and inches. These things all roll into one another. So, you know, you see Jared Goff looking right initially, boom, that thing is locked off, and he goes back to the left, and oh, by the way, there's your tight end, and he's just going to rumble on down the field. The Jets defense is so good that you don't expect to see that happen against them. So to me, the fact that the Detroit Lions are doing what they're doing, it really is impressive, even if they don't make it to the postseason.
Once upon a time, there was a late season press conference with former Colts coach Jim Mora, the elder, and he was asked about playoffs, and he went into his epic playoffs rant. Here's Dan Campbell
trying to win a game
of the 7-7 Lions, who have won plenty of games lately, being asked about the possibility of Detroit making the playoffs. Here he is.
It can happen, you know. Just do your job, and you know, you can't hone in on it. What if we don't? What if we don't? You know, man, what if we don't make this play? Or what if we get? No, you just go make the play, line up, and cut it loose.
This is something that I can't quite figure out with Dan Campbell, although I guess it applies yesterday because he was out in the cold. He's always got that red nose of, I was just out in the cold, even when he wasn't just out in the cold. I don't get it, but he always has it. But yesterday he definitely had a reason because he was out in the cold. And Jared Goff, remember when the narrative used to be can't play in the cold? Not that he threw for 500 yards yesterday.
Remember it. I lived it. He couldn't.
Well, and you know what? It may come down to Week 18, Lions at Packers. It may very well be one of them is in and one of them is out as a wild card in the NFC, the way things possibly are tracking currently. So good news for the Lions, very much alive, doing their best to steal a spot from the Commanders or the Giants. Those are the two spots that are currently up for grabs, and those two teams, we're going to talk about them coming up in just a little bit, but those are the two teams that are still clinging to the final two spots. The Lions may be able to pick one of them off. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.